My name is Sean Murray. I'm a composer for film, television, and video games. And I want to talk about my history with Roland products, and especially the new INTEGRA-7. The first film I ever did, I was 19 years old. It was a feature film, theatrical feature called Scorpion. From there, I was doing soap operas for several years in my early 20s. And from there, I went on to do television shows for Showtime. Women's Stories of Passion was one of my shows. Buffy the Vampire Slayer was another breakout television series for me, as well as God, the Devil, and Bob for NBC. Yeah, video games. I did my first one back in 2003. It was called True Crime Streets of LA for Activision. And I followed that up 2 years later with True Crime Streets of New York. I was lucky enough to be called in on Call of Duty World at War in 2008, and then I followed that up in 2010 with Call of Duty Black Ops. The INTEGRA is a fabulous new addition to my setup here. For years, I've been using a Roland JV-1080 as my main piece of outboard gear. So I was really pleasantly surprised to find that the new INTEGRA-7 essentially has every sound from my old JV-1080 as well as my Roland D50. I just find it amazingly easy to build up a massive amount of sounds for whatever particular cue I'm working on very quickly and very easy without having to wait for, say, a soft synth or a sampler to load those sounds because they're already right there at your fingertips. Right off the bat, when I plug this in, I notice there is no noise coming out of this box. It is one of the cleanest outboard synth that I've ever heard. Right now, I'm really loving the SuperNATURal timpanis. I can't get enough of them. The control that you have over them by being able to easily use your mod wheel to slide into a roll and then use your release as a hit is just fantastic. The SuperNATURal sounds are more than I expected them to be. The amount of control and nuance that you have with them is just wonderful. I am really loving the fact that you can assign pretty much any controller to manipulate anything within the synthesizer sound. For example, right now I have one of my controllers set up to manipulate the attack, the release, the frequency, your resonance filter, as well as effect send level. So, I mean, it's incredibly versatile in what you can assign your controllers to, and it gives you tremendous control over the sound. The 8 outputs are essential. The JV-1080 had 6 outputs, so you could work around getting that into surround placement on your projects. But having the 8 outputs is terrific. 6 dedicated to 5.1 surround sound, 2 outputs as an additional stereo is really terrific. But one of the greatest things about it that makes it super easy is the programmer on the iPad. It's been really interesting and fun to have on the current project that I'm working on. I have to tell you, having this iPad control is just wonderful. When you get those analog type controls over the sounds, especially on the synthesizers, it's fantastic. Having your envelope filter right at your fingertips, you have the ability to change the levels of every partial and parameter that you can imagine. It really brings you back to the analog days when you have that immediate fingertip control using the iPad. I love the motional surround. It is so fabulous to have a visual aid for your placement in the surround spectrum. So I've been using this part of the app extensively in my new mixes for the current video game project I'm working on. One of the best features about the iPad interface is having a Wi-Fi connection to it. When you're walking around the studio and you want to get up out of your chair, I'm auditioning sounds, walking around, maybe sitting on the couch in the studio. Being able to get away from your command center for a second and walk around and stretch your legs while auditioning sounds is an amazing aspect of the iPad control. It's a tremendously tactile way to control the synth. I love being able to put 5 fingers on 5 different sliders and control the volume of each part. The INTEGRA-7 has every genre of sound that I want to work with. It has the electronica, it has incredible analog synths, it has incredible ethnic instruments, it has the realism of wonderful strings and marcatos and bow noises. It's got incredible percussion, wonderful articulations with timpanis, for example. They've been just really impressive to me, the amount of realism that you get out of the supernatural sounds. So having everything in one box is kind of wild.